The United States was built on a simple idea: no kings and no rulers above the law. Under the Constitution, a president is not a monarch. Power was divided on purpose. Lawmakers would write the laws, presidents would enforce them, and courts would interpret them. The system was designed to move slowly so that no single person could move the country alone. But what if there is a way around that design? Not by ignoring the Constitution, but by using powers Congress itself already granted. What if declaring a national emergency can quietly bypass the limits meant to prevent concentrated power? That question is not hypothetical. It sits at the center of modern American government. Congress is supposed to debate laws in public, argue, compromise, and vote. That process is slow by design. But there is one mechanism that moves the system very fast: a presidential emergency declaration. When a president declares a national emergency, something unusual happens. Rules that normally require months of debate can change in days. Money can be redirected. Agencies can act immediately. Policies can take effect without a single new vote in Congress. This does not mean the Constitution disappears. Congress still exists, and the courts still exist. But the balance of power shifts. Congress makes the laws, and the president enforces the laws. That separation is fundamental to the American system. The president cannot rewrite statutes passed by Congress, but Congress has written hundreds of laws that include emergency authorities. Those powers already exist. They remain inactive most of the time, and they only activate when a president declares a national emergency. The Constitution assumed Congress would guard its own power. It assumed lawmakers would defend their role even when doing so was slow, inconvenient, or politically costly, especially during moments of fear or crisis. Emergency powers test that assumption, because emergency powers do not require Congress to act. They require Congress not to act. This framework is governed by the National Emergencies Act of 1976. Before that law, the United States remained under emergency declarations that never ended. Congress attempted to impose structure and oversight by requiring presidents to formally declare emergencies and renew them each year. Congress also retains the legal authority to terminate emergencies. But ending an emergency usually requires passing a law, and that law can be vetoed by the president. The system relies not just on rules, but on restraint. Now we turn to the second presidency of Donald Trump. When Trump began his second term, he again emphasized strong executive authority. National emergencies were declared related to border security and energy policy. These declarations allowed the executive branch to redirect funds, accelerate regulations, and act without waiting for new legislation from Congress. The justification was urgency, that Congress was moving too slowly, and that immediate threats required immediate action. Supporters described this approach as decisive leadership. Critics described it as bypassing Congress. Both arguments exist within the same legal system. Emergency powers are also heavily used in foreign policy. Many national emergencies today are not sudden disasters. They are long-term emergencies tied to sanctions, trade, and diplomacy. Cuba is one example. During Trump's second term, emergency authority was used to establish a legal framework for economic pressure related to Cuba. A national emergency declaration invoked long-standing emergency economic powers. Under this framework, the executive branch is authorized to apply tariffs or trade restrictions to imports from foreign countries or companies that supply oil and petroleum products to Cuba. If and when the administration determines such action is necessary. This approach follows a broader pattern seen in past emergencies. Previous administrations have used emergency authority to impose sanctions, asset freezes, and trade restrictions on third-party countries and companies connected to Iran, North Korea, and Venezuela. In the Cuba case, the emergency declaration establishes the authority first, while decisions about specific countries, companies, and measures are left to future executive determinations. No new law was passed by Congress. The authority already existed. The emergency declaration activated it. This is where the tension becomes clear. Emergency powers are legal, and they are constitutional. But they concentrate power quickly. They compress debate, reduce Congress's immediate role, and place extraordinary authority in a single office. So the question is not whether national emergencies are allowed. The question is whether they are being used as intended. Do you think the president should still have the authority to declare a national emergency? If so, do you think presidents are using that power too often? And do you think Congress needs to do a better job checking the president? If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe to learn how civics works in America and how power shifts between branches of government.